Hi there, welcome. Thank you for listening. This is my case study, EDL 853. My name is Ian Martinez-McGraw. Oh, it's kind of the case summary. Miguel Hernandez is currently a sophomore at Nottingham High School that was designed and built in the 1950s. About one quarter of the high school has not been upgraded or updated in order to accommodate students with disabilities. Miguel was also the quarterback of the football team in which he was injured by the other team during a game. He was checked on and attended to by the medical aides and coaches on the field. An ambulance was then called, and it was discovered that he was paralyzed from the waist down. So kind of the issue is when he was ready to go back to school, parents wanted to meet with the counselor to get him back on track. They told Ms. Guzman, who was the counselor, that he will be in a wheelchair and did not need any other accommodations for Miguel. 2 weeks later, when Miguel was ready to go back to work, they informed him that he will not be in the biology class anymore due to the classroom not having the wheelchair access. Therefore, he would need to be enrolled in another science class. The parents then did request a meeting with the school. At the meeting, Mrs. Hernandez asked why Miguel had been denied access to the biology class and why she and Mr. Hernandez had not been informed by the change in Miguel's class schedule. She demanded that Miguel immediately be reinstated to the biology class. She also mentioned that Miguel planned on attending college following graduation and needed to remain in biology because it was a required course for university that Miguel wanted to attend. So some legal or ethical issues. The IDEA, or Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, ensures that all children with disabilities are entitled to free, appropriate public education to meet their unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, or independent living. Prior to IDEA, over 4 million children with disabilities are denied appropriate access to public education. Many students were denied entry into public school altogether, while others were placed in segregated classrooms or in regular classrooms without adequate support from their social or special needs. There are 4 parts of it, but Part B does say every child is entitled to a free and appropriate public education, which is FAPE. When a school or professional believes that a student between the ages of 3 and 21 may have a disability that has substantial impact on the student's learning or behavior, the student is entitled to an evaluation in all areas related to the suspected disability. Creation of IEPs, or individualized education plans. The purpose of an IEP is to lay out a series of specific actions or steps through which educational providers, parents, and students themselves may reach the child's stated goals. That the education services for children with disabilities must be provided in the least restrictive environment, and if possible, those children be placed in a typical education setting with non-disabled students. Input of the child and their parents must be taken into account in the educational process, and when a parent feels that an IEP is inappropriate for their child, or that their child is not receiving needed services, they have the right under IDEA to challenge their child's treatment, which is due process. Section 2 continued. Before the meeting, Mrs. Hernandez had ended. Mr. Hernandez arrived with the gentleman and introduced as Miguel's attorney. The attorney stated, "My name is Howard Carey, and I represent Miguel Hernandez. I understand we might have a problem. Are you familiar with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973? Do you understand the implications of denying my client access to the classroom at this school? My client has a right to free and appropriate public education. He needs specific services, and these include access to the biology class and anything else we deem necessary to ensure that Miguel's rights are protected." Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is the national law that protects qualified individuals from discrimination based on their disability. Synthesize. The parents of Miguel Hernandez are concerned about their rights and the rights of their child by having his class taken away due to it not being able to accommodate a wheelchair. So synthesize the facts. What we do know. The people that we know are Miguel, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, his parents, Ms. Guzman, the counselor, Howard Carey, the attorney, principal, which is myself, Dr. Harvey is the superintendent. The place that we know is Dover School District, Nottingham High School, 3,200 students total, built in the 1950s. Only high school in the district, 75% has been updated. Community activism and support is prominent in the region. The program, public school system, highly valued and known about. The school is considered a great school. What we do not know: the teachers of the school, the biology teacher, special education teacher, football coach, support staff of the school. The place, cost of updates, demographics, how the classrooms are set up, program, the special education program, 504 coordinator program, current services, and funding. Review the information. So who might be affected? Well, obviously Miguel would be highly affected. His parents, Miss Guzman, the football coach, the principal, the school district, Nottingham High School, and also the community. Who should be consulted? The district admins and superintendent should all be consulted along with the attorney representing the Hernandez family. And I believe also the attorney representing the school district too. What more information do I need to know? What are the current school's financial stance? We need to find out why the other quarter of the school has not been able to be updated yet. Is there enough information for me to make a decision? I believe that I do have enough information to make a well-informed decision. So identifying options and consequences. So the option one would be contacting the superintendent, explaining the situation happening, contact the attorney for the school district, allow Miguel to in science class that Ms. Guzman moved him to stay, notify Miguel's parents of their parent rights. Option two, ask Miguel's parents to consent for a special education eval, notify the parents of their meeting, meet with the IEP team. If he qualifies, create a plan together, has accommodations in place for Miguel to succeed in school. Share the information with the staff in school who will be working with Miguel. Option three, contact the superintendent, contact the attorney for the school district, ask Miguel's parents for consent to evaluate him for special education, create an IEP with the IEP team, which is mentioned above, the teachers, parents, students, and admin. Meet with outside sources and the school board to come up with possible fundraising plans to help update the school. So the pros and cons of the options. Option one, the pros are no extra finances needed. Staff does not need to do any more work. The cons are not with the most integrity, not the most ethical. Miguel might be set back. School could face legal action. Option two, the pros. Miguel gets to take the class he wants to. It'll allow the school to be less likely at fault. It'll set a precedent for future students with disabilities who attend the school. Some of the cons of option two are financial burden, extra work and time for the staff. Pros of option three, less risk financially. Miguel can take biology, not as much liability on the school. Some of the cons, financial burden, extra work and time, and then also more networking. So more reaching out, more communicating with the outside sources to help fundraise and come up with the, hopefully the expenses to update the other quarter of the school. So I chose option three. I believe that it would be the best because all the people that ended up being consulted with and involved have been contacted and made aware of the situation. Here's how I will implement my decision. I will contact Dr. Harvey, the superintendent, and explain him the situation. I will contact the school board and also the attorney legal representation for our district. Ask Miguel's parents for consent to evaluate Miguel for special education. Assuming he does qualify, I will hold the IEP meeting with the team. We will discuss and create a plan that outlines the goals, accommodations, and services Miguel will receive at Nottingham. Work with outside agencies to help prevent situations like this in the future. Try to find ways to help upgrade the other quarter of the school, and also just be an advocate. Be an advocate for the staff, the students, the parents. It's not. I feel like oftentimes a lot of people get into it when it comes to school against the parents, whereas everyone just needs to work together. So just be an advocate for everybody. As a teacher, that's, you're the students and parents first go to, so you're kind of that middle barrier. But just be an advocate. Here are my references. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you guys. This has been a very, very helpful class, and I really enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys later.